Excellent.
You can't even speak right now.
I got some chicken in my teeth.
All right, so what's going on? Welcome back to Memory Ash.
Welcome back. As anticipated, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis issued an apology video at like an hour after we stopped filming our previous video.
Was it that close?
It was close.
Okay. I know we were editing and we just it's gonna be posted in like 10 minutes. But we saw the reaction and I didn't see the whole thing, but she showed me like a couple of clips and I was immediately like, yeah, that's exactly what I said they were gonna do. So I guess we're gonna watch the whole thing and
I want to watch it and then I want to talk about why it's not okay. Like why it's not enough.
yeah.
Okay?
Looking for red flags.
Because this is frustrating. Like, as a person who, like, has been close to people that have experienced, like, abuse from other people, seeing this is really frustrating.
Well, you yourself have experienced abuse, like you know.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people have, and sometimes it's just like not having the right words for it or whatever, and like then seeing the way people react to these kinds of things, it's shockingly commonplace, and I guess some people get called out for it because of how heinous it is and how obviously bad it is, but you know, I'm not quite sure if that's what's going to happen here, but Buttercup.
We have an elderly cat.
3 legs. Oh. I'm going to say I'm abusing her.
She's upset.
That's because Duke's in his own dog bed, which is sometimes her dog bed.
Yeah, she likes it.
All right.
Okay, so let's go.
All right.
We are aware of the pain that has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson.
They're aware of the pain.
They're aware of it.
Okay, this is like the I see you comments. Like, I see you.
I see you.
I'm aware that I have caused. No, not even I have caused. There is pain associated with the thing I did.
Is that what happened? Is that what
I don't know.
said?
Let's.
We are aware of the pain that has been caused by
The pain that there's a lot of dissociating the terminology there, right?
No, like the pain we caused, right? Which is what would be appropriate here is for them to take personal responsibility and accountability for the pain they themselves caused by writing the letters they wrote.
Yep. But they're aware that pain has been caused.
Sure.
By I guess we're not
by the letters.
By the letters.
Right. Yeah. Uh-huh. So like people do this, right? Like this is what people do to separate themselves from the actual accountability for what they've done.
Yep.
And they're not gonna I'm sure they're not gonna be taking any accountability, let's be honest.
by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson.
Well, at least they said they wrote them.
Yeah, not letters that were written by individuals. Yeah.
Might have been us. I don't know.
Submitted to the court. Yeah.
We support victims.
I love that opening.
We support victims.
Except not these ones.
Okay.
We have done this historically through our work and will continue to do so.
A classic is I have always been this supportive. I mentioned like somebody engaged in like racist activity. It's like I have always fought for X individuals. You know what I mean? It's like I couldn't possibly there's a I couldn't do this wrong because I do the right thing. I have done the right thing and I always do the right thing. That's basically what she's saying.
Do you know what ticks me off about this too? Is like I very much believe and live my life by like the ethos that it's your current actions that define you as a person. Like you could have done something really awful and really terrible in the past. And if you've changed your behavior, taken accountability for what you did and are no longer doing that and are currently being a really good human being, I don't care as much about what the historical historically what you did. And then same way,
there's a flip on that.
Historically been a really great person. Historically, you could have supported survivors, but if you stop doing that, that's not you anymore. It's not what your actions are showing that you are anymore.
I think there's an element where it's like the sum of your actions don't allow you to do horrible things then. And then like you're saying, some like I think there's like a if you're looking at sum of actions kind of perspective, there's a point for some people where you can't really correct I think how messed up you are. And we can talk about some historical figures, but you can think of a few, I'm sure. But then like like I just said, like just because you've done good things doesn't mean you're immune of doing something bad or something even horrible.
Right. Right.
Or doing the opposite of what you've historically done. So she could say we've always supported survivors and then not support a survivor.
Really,
you know?
it's worthless in this scenario.
It is.
What she's saying.
It's less than worthless because it's like it's denying what she's doing and what she's done just recently. Like
dismissive of the harm that she has caused to the current survivors.
Yeah, the many of them.
Not supporting.
Yeah. So fail on that.
In the future.
A couple months ago, Danny's family reached out to us and they asked us to write character letters to
Say no.
Yeah.
Like decline. Politely decline.
You don't have to.
You don't have to. Right? Like,
Again,
really
like
don't.
what's his name? Topher? Topher didn't write a letter.
No, he didn't.
Topher didn't. I was reading something right before this too. It's like one name is suspiciously absent from all the other like co-stars that wrote letters.
Few, right?
There's a few.
Did Laura Prepon write a letter? I don't think she did.
I mean, Topher was like one of the people I've kind of been talking about and throwing out a lot because I think associations with like Danny and then getting flack in the past.
I think the other problem that I have with this is that they didn't just write letters. They wrote letters saying things like he was an exceptional human being.
Yeah.
Like he treated everyone with equality and kindness. I think it's pretty clear from the actions he was convicted of that that is not true. And it doesn't really matter if they didn't experience that side of him. People did. Victims did. And of course he's not showing that side of himself to literally everyone that
I said that last time. It's like he's saving that for instances where he thinks he can get away with it. It's not like he's not going to be advertising that he's a bad people don't go around saying I'm a bad person, I do bad things.
Yeah.
If somebody's saying that, they're probably a conflicted person trying to be better, at least thinking about it. He's like so many of these people, he's hiding those terrible parts of himself.
Right.
Except for when he thinks he'll get away with it.
And that's coming out towards his victims, not towards the people that he holds as like family and friends. And I think that's pretty consistent with like abusive people.
Absolutely.
Like often that's what you'll hear.
Yeah.
It's like, oh well, I didn't see that side of that person. Like, of course you didn't.
Yeah, you weren't in the intended
Right.
individual
So
that would see that.
Right. So I mean, this seems to me like a very simple circumstance.
Yeah.
Either say no, or if you absolutely feel compelled to say anything, they didn't have to go to the extent that they went in those letters. It was too far.
And I said it earlier before we were recording, but I think it's interesting in this video how they both look a little tired. I'm sure they have makeup on, but they have makeup that makes them look like normal people. You know what I mean? Like their team is sitting right around here. They've got lights. And they're like recording it from an iPhone. It's not an official statement. There's like for me, a fake hurried element to this that I don't trust.
You can also hear that they've rehearsed it.
Like heavily.
Especially in Mila's voice, that this is not like they hopped on and said what they were thinking. Like this is rehearsed.
Yeah, and let's remind ourselves they're actors.
Yeah.
And not particularly good ones given this, because I'm feeling no emotion from this and no honesty from this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's also giving it's, you know, when people do this, right? Celebrities do this, and it almost feels like they feel like you should feel bad for them. Like they feel tired. They feel like this is so overwhelming for them. You know what I mean? Like the sentiment is that like they're very distressed by the backlash.
They so far initially, and this is strategic too, probably. Initially, first statement is people have been hurt. We're not going to call those people out. We're not going to say these individuals. I apologize. We'll see. But I think I'm wondering if they're going to just twist it on themselves, how they're victims.
Suspicion if there's an apology, it's going to be to like all survivors.
Oh,
Do you know what I'm saying?
Because you diffuse it and you don't actually name what the harm you've done by. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're not going to name the people.
They're already sort of doing that.
Right.
We should keep watching.
Right.
to represent the person that we knew for 25 years so that the judge could take that into full consideration relative to the sentencing.
Can we talk about that the person they knew was people? So the person, can we talk about the fact that the person they knew was R-wording individuals?
Yeah.
He was committing crimes during that time, that they knew him.
Right. Because it's possible for you to know someone and to not know the full scope of what they're capable of.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to what we were saying.
It wasn't it, there was a serial killer that volunteered at like a crisis hotline during that time, right? And like actually Ted Bundy, was it Ted Bundy?
Was that him? I don't know.
And I'm sure the people that he helped on that crisis
so
hotline,
helpful,
right,
such a nice person.
they knew him in a certain capacity. He was also killing people.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that bothers me about this is that they wrote these letters requesting leniency for someone that had committed awful crimes. I don't really understand the point or the purpose in this day and age of this type of letter anyway.
Why would it even come into play?
Right, what does this matter?
Yeah.
What does it matter how he treated two celebrities?
Yeah.
Like, truly. Because
some famous dictators were vegetarians. Didn't believe in eating animals. Like, does that give them some leniency?
It shouldn't take away from what he did. And his sentence should be appropriate to the crimes that he was convicted of.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be based on what famous rich people
rich friends
about having known him.
Yeah.
Like, really, it shouldn't.
Really should not.
The letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling.
Somebody's absent there. Who's absent there and who she just mentioned?
Yeah, no statement about the victims. I think it's coming though.
Okay.
And I also
This
take
is short.
issue if it comes. I take issue with it.
This is 58 seconds. This is brief.
They were intended for the judge to read.
Intended for the judge to read.
Oh, you're not supposed to see these. You're not supposed to see these. They were intended just for that judge's eyes only.
Yeah.
That's what he just said, right?
Well, the thing is, like, he has to know that, like, those documents would become public record.
Maybe
Unless
after.
he didn't think about that.
That phrase right there.
Or they just didn't care.
That phrase right there. That phrasing.
Yeah. I know. Ugh.
That was intended for the judge.
And not to undermine the testimony of the victims.
Not to undermine the testimony of the victims. Can I just hold on a second? Because I want to pull up some of the things that they said in their letters.
You did earlier.
Right.
Okay.
But I want you to tell me how it doesn't undermine the testimony of the victims. Okay. So one of the things that Ashton Kutcher said in his letter, and I know that we already talked about this in the last video, but he said that Masterson was an extraordinarily honest and intentional human being. That to me means he's honest. He wouldn't lie about having these people.
It implicitly undermines them because it's a extraordinarily an honest, intentional human being. Never lied to him through their 25-year-long friendship. So that brings up some questions. There's a conflict here.
Why would you say that?
Either Danny Masterson was honest with Ashton about R-wording individuals. No, I'm serious.
I know, I'm sorry. That's just horrible.
Or he was lying to Ashton and Ashton's wrong.
Yeah.
Those are the only two possibilities there. So, I mean, and I know he wouldn't say or really intentionally imply that Masterson was honest with him about these events, or he's saying that those individuals that the victims are lying. There's like, you can't have all these things at once. He's a liar.
Yeah.
Ashton's wrong, or this creep is telling Ashton about these things that are crimes. You know what I mean? Like which is it? You got to pick one.
He also said that Masterson set an extraordinary standard around how you treat other people. The thing is, this is how he was treating people. He was abusing people. How is that an extraordinary standard to set unless the implication is that he didn't do the things that he was convicted of?
Or the other, again, there's could be some honesty here where Ashton's basically saying he's learned from him. You outwardly act like a nice person that does good things, and then people will believe that regardless of whether or not it's true. So maybe he is a good role model.
Or it makes up for it.
Or that it makes up for it. Yep.
He's allowed to do these horrible things to people. And
So many people think that.
An extraordinary person.
Still is.
Still set an extraordinary standard for how to treat people, because the way he treated people in all other aspects of his life was worth more than the way he treated these people in the instances where he abused them.
He's not an ongoing harm to society.
And how would you know? Because you didn't know then what he was doing. How would you know now?
Having his daughter raised without a present father would be a tertiary injustice in and of itself. So saying, and I just feel like that's implying any jail time is improper for Danny Masterson, convicted criminal.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to read that. Like, we gotta finish this. We gotta finish this video. I didn't put a timer on, so I don't know how long this is. But we gotta keep watching this apology and see if there's any other. I mean, it's not that long. It's 58. We're doing like 10 hours on this 58 minutes here.
Like,
58 seconds.
This is disgusting to me. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I have to read one more piece, which is that he has always treated people with decency, equality, and generosity. And that's Ashton saying that of Danny Masterson. He obviously did not always do those things unless you don't believe the victims.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he and Mila Kunis Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis can sit there and say that they weren't undermining the victim's testimony when clearly this is.
Yeah.
And like, it's gross to me that they would say that.
It's like a denial of reality that you can see with your own eyes, which is a very common thing people like this do.
Yeah. It's really frustrating and it's really saddening. And it's like, it's unfortunate because, like, I think my reaction to a lot of this is just kind of like shock and disbelief.
Yeah.
And like, it's just, it's disgusting to me.
It's disgusting, yeah.
Or re-traumatize them in any way. We would never want to do that. And we're sorry if that has taken place.
We're sorry if.
We're sorry if.
Sorry if.
You're not sorry then.
But people are telling you it did, right?
Yep.
Like, people are telling you they are re-traumatized by your.
I mean, look at the Chrissy post we showed on the earlier video.
Yeah.
You've re-traumatized individuals, and that's somebody who, based on the court's eyes, didn't have as bad of a situation as these other victims, frankly.
Not as clearly
outlined.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want to so I guess I don't want to put too many qualities on there, but they have clearly re-traumatized individuals. They're clearly questioning their experiences.
I also, I'm not going to say that I've never done this, because I have done this before, and it is just, to me, it's such a disservice to give an apology that says, I apologize if, or I'm sorry if. It's not an apology anymore. You're taking away the apology. If you have to say if it's not an apology in the first place,
I
you
agree.
shouldn't be giving it, because it's disingenuous.
You say the way to apologize is saying, I am sorry that I did this action and that action caused you harm.
Yes.
That's all it is. You did the action. That action hurt somebody.
Yes.
You take ownership of that.
Yes.
You throw that if in, and it negates it.
Yeah.
You know, it's an intentional if. It's an if that makes you feel better about yourself, because you're like. Yeah. If you're upset
then
that I burned the house down, I guess I'm sorry. I never would have thought you'd be upset about that. Like that's sort of like the implication.
Yeah.
Again.
It's hard, because it's not I would never suggest that someone apologize when they don't feel sorry for something.
Yeah.
But only apologize for what you understand and take accountability for. So if that is in this situation a misunderstanding, if that is even for the trauma that they caused, it doesn't mean that you take all your words back, but you can be sorry that you caused someone to feel bad. You can feel sorry that you caused someone to be re-traumatized with the words that you used to describe this convicted
criminal.
Right.
Of crimes against other people. It wasn't petty theft, you know what I mean?
It's violent.
It's violent, yeah.
Yeah.
Ruins people's lives.
Our heart goes out to every single person who's ever been a victim of
No.
It's so transparent where it's coming. where it's going.
You can see it.
You can
right?
see the cogs
see
turn.
it.
I'm surprised they
see
mentioned the testimony of the individuals at all. But we are so sorry to we support every single victim, except specifically a
Right.
couple of them.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's so
disgusting.
gross.
I feel like knots in my stomach. It's disgusting watching this crap.
I hate this.
I hate this.
Like,
They're
I
just
hate
before I was like, like this is the things we see, like, and I even like said something about like I didn't think they were deplorable people before. They're disgusting. This is disgusting. This is a horrible response. It's a disgusting attitude.
Yeah.
And you can tell that they feel they're above it, and they've got PR teams scrubbing this crap, and them reading a script. Like it's horrible. And I know that's the way these things go, but it's gut wrenching to watch it happen and know there are people out there just like suffering, and they're completely denying the reality that they've created.
And could you imagine?
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine being one of the victims and then watching this? It would be really gut wrenching to watch this.
I feel gut wrenched. Like my stomach is like
It's almost worse than them saying nothing. And to me, and like, I don't know how you're going to feel about this because this may be controversial, but to me, this is almost worse than them saying, we stand behind it. Like, I stand behind the letter that I wrote. Because this feels so fake.
It's fake. It is fake. It feels fake because it is.
And this feels so like dismissive.
Yeah, it is.
And gross.
Well, there's a denial of the harm they cause. There's a denial of the reality that they live in and that we all live in.
Yeah.
Like there's like and I don't want to use the G word because everybody's throwing that around too much, and it isn't exactly that. But like that's where a lot of that discomfort comes from. I think is like you said, if they were like, I'm a bad person and I wrote a letter for another bad person, and you can just fucking suck it. Like that's the response that some people get, and you're like, oh, you're a bad person. I get it, but they're so concerned with their image. It's like they have this like, oh, they're multi-millionaires, but they're the good ones. You know, they got this like perfect like I'm here to help people. I've got this SA survivor club that I'm creating that a lot of people have problems with online, and we don't need to go into that because I don't even know what's true and what's not. But like there's so much about it's just about them. It's all about them.
Yeah.
And they're gonna push your nose in it again.
Well, because
again.
It's damage control over their image. It's not actually them feeling bad for the harm that they've caused to the victims that are already traumatized and already have had to go through. I mean, all of this being public, going through the legal process, I don't even know.
It's sweaty again.
I don't know how hard that must be for people.
Yeah.
And it looks hard.
Yeah.
And they've made it worse for those people.
Yeah.
And it's
bad.
Yeah, it's completely unacceptable to me. It's so frustrating, so hypocritical for them to say that they support all victims. I mean, it's just gross. Like, I can't say
all
enough.
includes this subset. Like, that's how sets work. But
they feel like what they did, apparently was supportive.
Yeah, well, because they believe Masterson is a victim of that court proceeding.
I mean, they didn't say that.
I mean, they all but did. And that thing with the daughter is going to be he basically said that the daughter will be a tertiary third-party victim if Masterson goes to prison. And that's any time is implied there.
Right. He also said, he ended his letter, by saying that while judgment has been cast as guilty on 2 counts of by force, and the victims have a great desire for justice, like, it's completely taking away the fact, he did these things. And it's
even just like...
It's not just these 2 people that have come forward. It's many people that have come forward. And these are just the 2 that he got convicted for. And Ashton and Mila have known about this, as we all have, for years and years. And then for him to say, the victims have a desire for justice.
Well, shit.
Don't we all?
Yeah. We should all want justice done.
Right.
Yeah.
And for some reason,
this is fucking horrible.
It's acceptable for them. And maybe we're going to see that it's not. I hope that we see that it's not. I hope we see a lot of backlash towards this.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that it's going to do anything to their careers or change anything, and I wish that it would to an extent.
It can push them out of the public eye more, because they've been sort of a public couple, power couple, have money. Like, let's look at Ashton and Mila's house and some house post or whatever. I've seen shit like that. Like, I don't give a fuck about their house, but maybe we'll stop seeing crap about them.
Or like maybe the benefit can be like separate from them, and just the fact that if other people see this and realize the harm this type of language does to people that have been victims of this, maybe they won't do this to people that they interact with that have gone through this type of thing, because this is not the kind of language to use. This isn't a good apology for what they did. And a dishonest fake apology is not better than no apology.
Yeah, it's worse.
All right.
Woo! That's a doozy.
Just awful. It's awful to like, you know, it's awful to watch people that are victims have to go through something like this. I'm sure it's awful for them to experience it. And it's really unfortunate to watch public facing people conduct themselves in this kind of a way.
Absolutely.
And I really hope this is the last time we talk about this, because I would just rather talk about other things. But, you know, when you get riled up, you get riled up, you know?
Yeah. Wow. Hopefully later topics next time.
Yeah, later topics.
I mean, this is garbage. This is bullshit. Something had to be said. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure other people will say things like I mean, you see a lot of these videos. Oh, so and so apologizes. Oh, this is a garbage apology. It's a garbage apology.
It's a garbage apology.
They should apologize for that apology. Like, this is like how far does it go? Or they should just shut the fuck up and leave. Like, just shut the fuck up.
Just shut the fuck up.
Nobody wants to hear your shit.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Just shut the fuck up.
Because at the point that you're supporting a
Yep.
get the fuck out.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Yep. Gross, man.
Gross.
So if you want to see more of this, like, subscribe, comment. No, but tell us, so we've been seeing some comments that we vehemently don't agree with, but, you know, if you got something you want to say, like, again, try and keep it civil.
Yeah, keep it civil, but go for it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, what do you think?
Has this ever happened to you? I certainly hope not.
Yeah.
You ever done this to someone? I really hope not.
Yeah, I really don't want to hear from you then. All right. Yep.
All right.